Silence is the language of truth, but most people never learn how to listen because they are addicted to noise. From the moment you wake up, something is speaking into you: screens, thoughts, memories, fears, expectations, comparisons. Noise becomes normal, and when silence finally appears, it feels threatening. That is why tonight matters. God said, listen tonight, because silence is not empty, it is full of answers you have been running from. Silence removes your masks. When there is no sound to hide behind, no conversation to escape into, no distraction to numb you, you are left face to face with yourself. This is uncomfortable for the undisciplined mind because silence reveals truth without decoration. In silence, excuses collapse. Stories you tell yourself lose power. You begin to notice how restless you are, how impatient, how dependent on stimulation. This is not punishment. This is awareness. God does not bring silence to harm you. He brings silence to show you where you truly stand. Most people think guidance comes as a loud sign, a dramatic moment, a miracle that forces clarity. But real guidance is subtle. It arrives quietly, steadily, repeatedly. Silence is required because truth does not compete. Truth does not beg for attention. It waits. If you never slow down, you will miss it every time. God said, listen tonight, because tonight you are finally still enough to hear what has been waiting patiently. When the noise fades, the first thing you will hear is not God's voice, but your own inner chaos. Thoughts will race. Old memories will surface. Regrets will knock loudly. This is normal. Silence does not create these things, it reveals them. Many people mistake this discomfort as failure and immediately return to noise. But if you remain still, if you do not react, if you do not judge, the storm begins to settle. What remains after the storm is clarity. Silence teaches you restraint. It trains you to observe instead of react. In silence, you realize how much of your suffering comes from unnecessary movement, unnecessary words, unnecessary reactions, unnecessary resistance. When you sit quietly, breathing steadily, doing nothing, you begin to understand that peace is not something you chase. Peace is something that appears when you stop interfering. God speaks through patterns, not panic. Through intuition, not impulse. Through calm certainty, not emotional chaos. Silence creates the space where these signals can be noticed. Without silence, everything feels urgent. With silence, you begin to sense what truly matters and what does not. Problems that once felt overwhelming shrink. Decisions that felt impossible simplify. Not because life changed, but because your perception did. Listening tonight means listening beyond words. It means listening to your body, which has been warning you through tension and fatigue. It means listening to your breath, which becomes shallow when you live in fear and deep when you live in truth. It means listening to the quiet resistance you feel when something is not aligned. God uses these signals constantly, but you only recognize them when you slow down. Silence demands humility. You cannot dominate silence. You cannot argue with it. You cannot manipulate it. You must submit to it. And in that submission, ego weakens. The need to be right dissolves. The need to be seen fades. The need to control outcomes loosens. This is why silence is powerful. It humbles you without shaming you. It corrects you without attacking you. Tonight, when you sit in silence, you may feel exposed. You may feel small. You may feel uncertain. This is not weakness. This is honesty. God works with honesty, not performance. Silence removes performance. There is no audience, no validation, no applause, just you and what is real. This is where transformation begins. Silence also teaches patience. Truth does not rush. Insight unfolds slowly, layer by layer. If you expect instant answers, you will miss deeper wisdom. God said, listen tonight, not demand tonight. Listening is receptive. Demanding is aggressive. One opens the heart, the other closes it. When you stop forcing clarity, clarity finds you. In silence, you learn the difference between intuition and impulse. Impulse is loud, emotional, urgent. Intuition is calm, steady, persistent. Impulse says act now or lose everything. Intuition says wait, adjust, prepare. Without silence, these voices blend together. With silence, they separate. And once you recognize the difference, your life changes. Silence also reveals attachment. You begin to notice what you are afraid to lose, what you cling to, what you define yourself by. These attachments create suffering because they demand constant protection. In silence, you see them clearly, not to destroy them, but to loosen their grip. God does not ask you to abandon everything. He asks you to stop letting anything own you. Listening tonight means allowing silence to discipline you. Discipline is not harshness. Discipline is structure. Silence structures your inner world. It aligns your thoughts, steadies your emotions, grounds your energy. When your inner world is disciplined, outer chaos has less power over you. You respond instead of react. You choose instead of panic. Silence is also where forgiveness begins. Not the dramatic kind, but the quiet release. When you sit still, replaying the past becomes exhausting. Holding anger becomes heavy. Eventually, you realize forgiveness is not for others. It is for your nervous system, your clarity, your peace. God speaks through this realization gently, without force. Many people fear silence because they fear hearing something they cannot ignore. Silence removes denial. It confronts you with responsibility. If you feel called to change direction, silence will confirm it again and again until you either obey or numb yourself. God is patient, but truth is persistent. Ignoring it only creates tension. Listening releases it. Silence does not always bring comfort immediately. Sometimes it brings correction. Sometimes it brings grief. Sometimes it brings the realization that you have outgrown certain people, habits, or paths. This can feel lonely, but loneliness is temporary. Misalignment is permanent if ignored. God said, listen tonight, because realignment begins with awareness. In silence, you also discover strength you forgot you had. The ability to sit with discomfort without escaping builds inner power. You stop being controlled by mood. You stop being dragged by emotion. You become stable. Stability attracts clarity. Clarity attracts confidence. Confidence attracts peace. Silence trains you to trust yourself again, not your impulses, but your deeper knowing. The knowing that feels calm even when the decision is hard. The knowing that does not need validation. The knowing that remains consistent over time. God's guidance often arrives through this steady inner confirmation. When you practice silence regularly, life slows down even when it moves fast. You carry stillness with you. Chaos no longer enters you so easily. Criticism loses its sting. Praise loses its intoxicating effect. You become centered. This is not detachment from life. This is mastery within life. God said, listen tonight, because tonight is an invitation, not a command. An invitation to return to yourself. An invitation to stop running. An invitation to remember that wisdom has always been accessible, but never allowed. Silence is the doorway. Walk through it willingly. Sit, observe, do nothing. Let thoughts pass. Let emotions rise and fall. Do not chase meaning. Do not force insight. Trust that what needs to be heard will surface when you are ready. This is listening. This is discipline. This is strength. And when you finally hear it, not as a voice, but as certainty, you will understand why silence was necessary. Because truth does not need volume. It needs presence. Discipline opens the door to divine guidance. But most people misunderstand discipline because they see it as restriction rather than refinement. They think discipline takes life away from them, when in reality, discipline gives life clarity. God said, listen tonight, but listening is not passive. Listening requires a prepared vessel. A chaotic mind cannot hold clear instruction. An undisciplined body cannot sustain a focused spirit. Guidance arrives where order exists. Look at your daily life. How you wake up, how you eat, how you speak, how you react. These are not small things. These are signals. God communicates through structure. When your life has no structure, messages become distorted. You ask for direction, but your habits pull you in 10 different directions at once. Discipline is what gathers scattered energy and points it toward one path. An undisciplined mind is loud. It jumps from thought to thought, from fear to fantasy, from regret to expectation. In such noise, even truth becomes confusing. Discipline trains the mind to stay, to focus, to remain present with one thing at a time. This is why monks train their attention. This is why warriors train repetition, not for perfection, but for reliability. God does not guide chaos. He guides commitment. Discipline begins with the body. If the body is restless, the mind will be restless. If the body is weak, the will becomes weak. When you control your posture, your breath, your movements, you send a signal inward, I am ready. Breath is especially important. Shallow breathing keeps you anxious. Deep breathing calms the nervous system. A calm nervous system hears more clearly. This is not spiritual poetry. This is practical truth. God said, listen tonight. But if you stay up scrolling, overstimulating your senses, feeding your mind random images and opinions, you close the door before guidance arrives. Discipline means choosing long-term clarity over short-term comfort. It means turning off what weakens you so you can turn on what strengthens you. Many people want signs, but they ignore routines. They want miracles, but they resist consistency. Yet consistency is the soil where miracles grow. When you wake up at the same time, pray or sit at the same time, move your body daily, eat with awareness, your system becomes stable. Stability sharpens perception. You begin to notice subtle shifts, inner nudges, quiet confirmations. Without discipline, these signals are drowned out. Discipline also reveals intention. What you repeatedly do shows what you truly value. Not what you say, not what you promise. God responds to alignment, not words. When your actions match your prayers, doors open naturally. When they do not, frustration grows. Discipline closes the gap between desire and behavior. There is a reason ancient traditions emphasize fasting, silence, early rising, physical training. These practices strip away excess. They remove dependency. They teach you that you are stronger than your cravings. When cravings lose control over you, clarity increases. God's guidance often requires restraint before revelation. Undisciplined emotion is another barrier. Reacting instantly to every trigger exhausts your energy. Discipline teaches emotional delay, not suppression but pause. When something upsets you, discipline says breathe first. Observe, respond later. This pause creates space for wisdom. Many mistakes happen not because guidance was absent, but because reaction was faster than awareness. God said, listen tonight, but listening also means stopping the habit of over-explaining yourself to everyone. Discipline your speech. Not every thought needs a voice. Not every feeling needs expression. When you speak less, you hear more. When you listen more, you understand more. Words leak energy. Silence stores it. Discipline is also about environment. What surrounds you shapes you. Messy spaces create messy thinking. Toxic conversations distort intuition. Constant negativity numbs hope. Discipline means curating what enters your mind. Music, content, people, atmosphere. This is not arrogance. This is self-respect. A clear channel does not allow pollution. Many people wait to feel motivated before becoming disciplined. This is backwards. Discipline creates motivation. When you act with structure, momentum builds. When momentum builds, confidence follows. When confidence grows, fear weakens. And when fear weakens, guidance feels safer to follow. God does not reveal the next step to someone who refuses to take the current one seriously. Small disciplines prepare you for larger responsibilities. If you cannot control your morning, how will you control your destiny? If you cannot manage your habits, how will you manage a calling? Discipline trains obedience without drama. You do what needs to be done whether you feel inspired or not. This steadiness is attractive to guidance. It shows readiness. It shows maturity. God does not need emotional intensity. He needs reliability. There will be days discipline feels heavy. Days when you want to quit routines, break structure, return to comfort. This is where discipline becomes devotion. You continue not because it feels good, but because it feels true. Over time, resistance fades. What was difficult becomes natural. What was forced becomes embodied. Discipline is not rigidity. It is conscious choice. It adapts without collapsing. It bends without breaking. True discipline makes you flexible, not brittle. Because when your inner foundation is strong, outer change does not destabilize you. Listening tonight requires this foundation. Without it, whatever you hear may excite you temporarily, but will not last. Discipline is what allows insight to turn into action. Action to turn into habit. Habit to turn into character. God said, listen tonight. But listening is a privilege earned through preparation. When you clean your inner house, guidance enters easily. When you respect your energy, wisdom respects you back. This is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming aligned. One disciplined breath, one disciplined choice, one disciplined day at a time. And slowly, quietly, unmistakably, the path becomes clear. What you fear hearing is what you need most. And this is the truth almost no one wants to face. Fear is not random. Fear is a signal. It appears precisely at the edge of growth, at the point where comfort ends and transformation begins. God said, listen tonight, because tonight you may finally be quiet enough to hear the truth you have been negotiating with for a long time. Most people do not fear pain. They fear change. They fear losing an identity they have grown used to, even if that identity is built on suffering. They fear letting go of a story that explains their wounds. They fear responsibility more than hardship. When guidance arrives and says, leave, wait, forgive, discipline yourself, or stop, fear rises immediately. Not because the guidance is wrong, but because it threatens what you are attached to. God does not speak to entertain you. He speaks to realign you. And realignment always feels uncomfortable at first because it pulls you out of familiar patterns. Tonight, if you listen honestly, you may hear something you already know but have been avoiding. The repetition of that message is not coincidence, it is mercy. Fear grows louder when truth gets closer. That is why the moment you are about to change, doubts multiply. The mind begins producing reasons, justifications, delays. Not now. Later. What if I'm wrong? What will people think? These thoughts are not guidance, they are resistance. Resistance appears when ego feels threatened. The ego survives on control and certainty. Divine guidance rarely offers full certainty. It asks for trust. It asks you to move without seeing the entire staircase. This is where fear enters. The ego wants guarantees. God offers direction. The difference between the two is faith. Listening tonight means being willing to hear instructions that do not flatter you. Sometimes the message is not, you are chosen, but you are undisciplined. Not, you are special, but you are distracted. Not, hold on, but let go. Truth is not always comforting, but it is always freeing. Fear also appears when guidance challenges your emotional attachments. You may feel strongly connected to people, habits, or situations that no longer serve your growth. The thought of releasing them creates anxiety. You call it loyalty. You call it love. You call it patience. But deep inside, you know when something is draining you rather than strengthening you. God will not force separation, but He will highlight misalignment until you can no longer ignore it. Many people confuse fear with intuition. This is dangerous. Intuition is calm even when the message is hard. Fear is loud, rushed, and emotional. If the message you hear comes with peace beneath the discomfort, it is guidance. If it comes with panic and urgency, it is impulse. Silence helps you distinguish between the two. God said, listen tonight, because fear loses power when observed calmly. When you sit with fear instead of running from it, you see it clearly. You realize it is made of imagined futures, not present reality. Fear speaks in what ifs. Guidance speaks in no. Often, what you fear hearing is a call to responsibility. Responsibility for your choices. Responsibility for your habits. Responsibility for your healing. It is easier to blame circumstances, people, timing, or fate. But guidance will bring you back to one uncomfortable truth: you have more control than you want to admit, and with that control comes accountability. Fear also protects identity. If you change, who will you be? If you heal, what excuses will disappear? If you grow stronger, what relationships will no longer fit? These questions create resistance, but staying the same has a cost too. A quiet cost paid in frustration, resentment, and regret. God does not reveal truth to punish you. He reveals it to prepare you. The thing you fear hearing today is often the thing that will free you tomorrow. Growth always asks for courage before it offers peace. Listening tonight requires honesty without negotiation. Not listening with the intention to argue, reinterpret, or delay, but listening to understand. When you truly hear guidance, there is a feeling of recognition, a deep yes beneath the fear. That recognition is your compass. Fear diminishes when action begins. The longer you delay obedience, the larger fear becomes. The moment you take one aligned step, fear loses its authority. It does not disappear completely, but it no longer controls you. Movement dissolves doubt. God's guidance often repeats itself gently, through thoughts, through patterns, through inner discomfort, through external signs that mirror your inner conflict. Repetition is not pressure, it is patience, but patience has a limit. Ignored guidance eventually becomes pain, not as punishment, but as consequence. Listening tonight may mean accepting that you cannot carry everything forward. Some versions of you must be left behind. Some beliefs must die. Some expectations must be released. This feels like loss, but it is actually space being created. Fear tells you that letting go will empty you. Truth tells you it will lighten you. When you finally accept what you have been avoiding, something surprising happens. Tension releases. The inner battle quiets. You feel grounded. Even if the path ahead is uncertain, you feel aligned. That alignment is peace, not comfort. Peace, God said, listen tonight, because truth does not chase you forever. It waits, but it also moves on. When you are ready, it meets you where you are. When you are not, it leaves signals until you become ready. Do not ask for reassurance. Ask for courage. Courage to hear without defense. Courage to accept without resistance. Courage to move without full clarity. What you fear hearing is not there to destroy you. It is there to rebuild you properly. Sit with it. Let it speak. Let the fear rise and pass. Do not label it. Do not fight it. Observe it. And beneath it you will find something steady, calm, and undeniable. That is the voice you have been avoiding. That is the voice God asked you to listen to tonight.